What did the digital clock say to the grandfather clock? Look, Grandpa, no hands. There we go. First episode of the Triple Play Cast, the Triple Play Show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going, fellas?
It's going well.
What a
Welcome
shitty
out.
joke. I love it.
That was. You know what? The popcorn one was better, but that time has passed.
The time has passed. Welcome, one and welcome all. Welcome
This is number one. This is where we started off.
Episode number 1. How's
Ryan,
it going, people?
You know what? We agreed you were going to speak this time.
Yes,
and you kind of missed your intro.
To jump in here, you guys have been non-stop copying here, and
Well, then fucking say something, sir. Way to come up clutch, Ryan. Way to come up clutch.
You know what? I think I was still waiting for you to speak a little bit more, and you gave up very fast.
Okay,
I don't know,
so
what am I supposed to say there?
before we get going,
Just confronted me, and it was awkward.
Shut up, Ryan. Now you want to
I'm
say
scared.
something when I'm trying to actually introduce the people. So before we get going, we should probably give a little background, a little introduction. There will be 2 YouTube channels in the description. Go check those out. YouTube.com/Monty Magnum. That is me. That is my personal YouTube account. And YouTube.com/The Mocha Moses. That will be in there as well. Mocha, say hi.
How's it going, guys? That is my personal YouTube. It's a little dry right now, but let's just say I created it when I was a young child. But it's going to be a lot better. I've already got some new
aspiring
content.
child.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's got some content, and it's only going to get better. So
Go check it out. And Ryan, you're just fucking here.
yeah,
I'm
he
just here. I am not on the YouTube boat. I have nothing to record, so I'm just gonna go.
He's everyone has a poor friend. He's it.
Yeah.
He's
Just leave it at
he's a
that.
victim of incest. It's a very,
know,
very dysfunctional
Everyone has
disease.
that friend that they just make fun of. Not that we don't love him, but he's the one that we make fun of the most out of the 3 of us.
All right,
So
this
I
isn't the
hope you guys
bash on.
enjoy this
isn't the
friendly
bash-
little one.
This isn't the bash on Ryan
Questioning
podcast.
my appearance here.
This is the Triple Play Show.
This is. We're all friends. It's all good. We love each other, not in a gay way.
I
Or
challenge
in a gay way.
those
You know what? I don't care.
those watching for the first time.
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
challenge. Shut up, people. Those watching for the first time, I challenge you to get through the entire episode, whether it be in one sitting or whether it be in a week. Just get through it and give us a shot. Hopefully, we'll make it worth your while. Anyways, let's get going on the first topic. Mac, you had a topic you want to talk about?
I had several. But where should we
Multiple
start?
topics.
You know what?
I like the assisted suicide.
I do too.
I like that
Because
topic.
you know what? It's one of those things. It's a very touchy topic, and it's really. What do you do with that? Euthanasia. If somebody wants to die, do they have the right to end their life?
And that's
You know,
the thing.
especially with a doctor. Like, there's people who are on their deathbed sitting in a hospital, and they are racking up bills because they're not living in a home. They're living in a hospital with medical care, doctors and nurses 24/7 to their attention, and the only thing keeping them alive is exactly those doctors. But they don't want to put their family through that, and you know what? They realize their time has come. They want to end it. And is this okay to do? I personally think so. If you have a right to live and you have a right to die, it's going to happen. You should decide when that happens. You don't want to have your quality of life diluted for the last 2 years because you're living off a machine.
Yeah, and I know. It's like people. I don't even understand why people get so sensitive about it. If you have the only way that you should be able to even consider doing it is if you're terminally ill and there's no reversing it. There's 100% you're gonna die. There's no, because then you'd get suicidal people and they're asking to be.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely.
But if you're terminally ill and you have no hope of going back, it saves somebody from the suffering. You do it to your dogs. Everyone does it to their animals. Why can't you do it to your grandpa, you or your dad, your mom, who's
Who you love and you don't want to see them sit through that pain.
Yeah.
And knowing that, you're going to be left with a shitload of debt after that because it's not cheap.
Especially in the States.
The only thing I see wrong with it is when you had your little malfunction, or Mac and I were discussing this. I briefly asked him what it was about, and then we're saying, like, how do you just go about, does the person just say it, or is there going to be paperwork needed? Because you can't just, then there's always going to be the doubt, like, oh, did she actually ask for that, right? The family's always going to be like, why the hell did you just pull the cord?
Yeah,
And,
but it's
right,
not gonna
like
be like I'm gonna walk into the hospital and fucking buy this for
no,
three
but I
ninety
mean,
nine. You
like
still got
what?
it. If you're considering getting it, if you're gonna get it, chances are you've been in the hospital for quite some time, or you've been diagnosed, and everybody knows. Your family's obviously gonna know if you have a terminal illness, and it's obviously gonna be a group decision. I mean, it's not necessarily gonna be a group decision, but there's gonna be other people
Your family is going to
there.
be involved in it, you know?
Exactly. It's not just gonna be like,
Unless you're one of
oh,
those people who is literally just living, dying on his own,
yeah. It's
you
not gonna
know,
be one of those things where
it's
you're gonna walk into the hospital without your family and just end it.
there's definitely going to be heavy restrictions on it. It's not going to just be,
And not
Yeah,
like you
like
said, walk in.
if you get that
thank you
one
very
doctor,
much.
right? Like you get that one doctor that's just like he's had a rough go with his career. You know, he's sick of it. He just wants to fucking get back at his job. You know, what if he's just fucking one of those guys that decides, you know, what, I'm gonna go pull the cord on this person.
yeah,
Even if
but
they didn't
people
ask for it. Like
people can do
what
that
is,
anyways.
what is the consequence going to be there? Since legally it's going to be allowed to be assisted suicide.
No,
at the same
that's
time,
not
No,
nobody
like
saying
we
will listen,
said
right?
though,
Like
you know, there's going to be paperwork. It's going to be something where it is a signed agreement. You're signing your life away in the most literal sense. You know, it's not it's not just going to be, hey man, you know, I've been in here for a while. This is getting kind of old. Just stop it. You know, like it's not like that.
Like if you did that, right, people can do that right now. People can go in and they can unplug
Exactly.
people from the hospital. There's still gonna be an investigation. And if there's no paperwork, if the family's not, if the family's willing and they've signed the paperwork, they're not gonna all of a sudden flip a switch once their loved one is dead, come back to the hospital and sue. There's going to be paperwork. There's going to be some legitimacy to
They're
the
going to know
process.
it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a random thing where there's going to be a question mark. If this ever became legal, it's legal. This is legal in some places in the world, but if it's ever going to become a legal thing all over the world and a regular thing, it's going to have to become as strict as a court. It's going to have to be an extremely involved process to actually get somebody through the process. It's not going to be a quick thing. It's not going to be
It's definitely not going to be quick. And that's the thing. It doesn't need to be. You're in the hospital living your last days, months,
Yeah.
maybe years. You know, you're not time is on your side right now. You know, you don't have to go catch a fucking movie that night. Like you're staying there.
but it is
do you guys think that even with the paperwork, you know, like saying like you talk about the paperwork involved, but there could always be that one family member that is bitter about it, right? Do you think
Oh,
that
of course.
they would, but do you feel like people would try to go and sue the doctor for, you know, murder or, you know, like
They
stuff like
couldn't.
that? Like
no, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have an overwhelming amount of people. It's going to have to be the person obviously dying that wants it. And
It
if
has
he-
to be their decision. As
if
much
he-
as we're saying it's a group decision, and it, you know, when it is a family decision, but ultimately it is that person's decision. Unless they're under drugs, you know, to the point where they
state of
can't
mind.
comprehend things, you know, then it comes down to what they want.
If there's paperwork saying that not the victim, but the person who's dying, the person who's willing to go, if he's signed off, if he's done all the paperwork, and they'll just like in executions, just like in electricity,
Electrocutions.
electrocutions, sorry, just like in that, there's going to be some sort of witness. There's going to be
Yeah.
some sort of person who probably witnesses the paperwork and the actual act of it for legal purposes. And if there is that disgruntled family member, they're just going to say, you know what, here's the paperwork, here's the witness, we can bring the witness in.
Yeah.
This is
And-
legitimate, this is legal, you can go to the courts if you want, but you're not going to win because we've
And
done
it's
this
totally
properly.
understandable. Like, yeah, you know, you don't want your father to die. Why would you want that? But you know what? If that's what he wants, it's going to be hard to accept whether he wants it or, you know, you want it or what. It's not easy, and it's going to
hard,
just be
yeah,
a
right?
mechanism of like, oh, just blaming other people. You know, it's totally natural to feel that way.
And I know on a more personal level, I'm not going to mention the person's name, but you guys obviously know. But her dad passed away last September, and for the last 8 months, he was suffering. He was literally asking to die. He kept saying that he wants to die, and because he was suffering, he was having seizures. He was falling down. He couldn't control his bowels. It was just a mess. It was a
Yeah, it's
disaster.
embarrassing for them too.
Exactly,
They
but
they don't they don't want to be like that.
and after the fact, it still affects seeing like through all the suffering. It still affects her seeing her.
Yeah, and you know
Go through
what?
that.
The sad part about that is, they don't want that to be their memory
Of the person.
of their dad. They don't want to be remembered as they were sick and that's what you think of. They want to be, I was a
healthy
great
person.
father. I lived an amazing life, and my time came to an end, just as yours will one day too.
And like you can put it in simpler terms. If your dog got hit by a car, if it got hit by some people don't want to see it because they don't want to remember their dog like that. They don't want to remember the dog in half or the dog missing limbs, guts everywhere. People just want to have those good memories of the dog, the brother, the sister, the mother, whatever it is. You want to have the good memories, not that horrible visual to end it.
So get away from like this whole dog aspect of it with the talk of making it legal. Do you think that there would be like a cost effect on the country itself, to put all these different mechanisms in place?
No, because
like
all it
this-
is
They don't need to
all it
do
is a
anything.
serum. All it is a liquid. You can do it. People
But, I
put
mean,
dogs
just-
down with a needle.
Just look
It's
at
the
it
same
in the
thing.
fact that like they will find a way to have a tax on that, right? Like they're already finding ways to do anything to up the taxes, right? Like it'd be part of like the politics aspect of it. Like would they?
You know what? I think the people that are making these decisions in their life don't really give a shit if they have to pay
Yeah,
GST on it.
Yeah, and
No, them, but like that's like I don't know, like
it's not going to cost the medical system anymore to actually put this to use because
Just
they've
stop
already got
using their equipment. Hell, they'll probably save on electricity.
the technology and the formula to make a liquid like this to end your life. I mean, they do it to dogs all the time. They just have to up
Yeah.
the dose.
you think okay, well then with that, you guys are saying like saving on money and stuff like that. So that also means with all these people not being in the hospital as long, that's also loss of jobs, right?
No.
People are
no,
always
no,
going to
no,
be
no,
sick
no,
and
no.
get injured.
Yeah.
It's just because you look after somebody in long-term care, that doesn't really I think you're thinking there's going to be a lot more people than are actually happening in this scenario. There's tons of people in long-term care that are
Yeah.
going to be there for a long time that aren't terminally ill. There's still going to be people that need care. It's old people need care regardless if they're terminally ill. They're just they can't look after themselves. Their bones break down. They're brittle. They just can't do what they used to do.
And
They're a lot more prone to injuries.
And people, it takes fucking guts to die, to purposely die.
Man up.
People just aren't going to be able to do it. People just aren't going to be able to. Some people are just going to say no. Like, I just want to, wait this out because people are either scared, they don't know what, they're the fear of the unknown. So you might get a lot of no's, but I don't think I don't think it would lead to a loss of jobs
No.
at all. Because there's still people, that's every year per hospital. How many people you think are terminally ill that die there?
I don't know.
Can't be that many. I don't know. Maybe I'm off, but I can't see it being more than 100. One every third day. That seems like a lot.
Think about how many people die that just have diseases in general that, millions of people die every
Of
day.
accidents,
But the
car
fucked up
accidents.
part is that there's more people being born every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it wouldn't. I don't think it would lead to a loss of job, but I do think that it should be legal with all the proper paperwork and legitimacy, just for the sake of saving someone the pain of suffering. It's legal in Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg. It says it's legal in Sweden. There are only assisted dying laws for terminally ill, mentally competent adults, only in the states of Oregon, Washington, and Vermont. So there is in the states, but mentally competent adults, so adults who are fully aware, who aren't.
I'm not in a altered state of mind. They realize what they are
They
choosing.
know what they're saying. Yeah.
Here's an interesting fact I just looked up here. 2 in 5 people, we're speaking about 40%, who die in hospitals do not have curable conditions.
2 of 5 people.
2 in 5 people. So around 40% of people who die in hospitals, they don't have a curable condition. they're, what we're talking about here.
So okay, but
So it's like sitting here, and like most of them will be alive or will be ill for 6 years before they die. So
yeah, but that doesn't mean ill all the time. It could mean if you have colon cancer. Colon cancer is like almost if you catch it at the wrong time, there's almost no going back. But at the same time, you're not suffering the whole time.
Yeah.
You're not, you're still fine. I know there's a guy that I heard about on YouTube who just got it, but he's still making videos. He's still doing his thing because it's not at the point where it's of danger to him, but it's not physically altering anything about him yet.
Yeah.
So there could be that fact could be completely legitimate, but you could say
that's a pretty big percentage of people that.
Yes, but I mean,
are...
6 years down the road, this person might die. You're terminally ill, but you might have 10 years left. You're terminally ill, but you might have a month left.
So the question is, why are they in the hospital for that long then? If they have a disease that is incurable, why take up the space of people that need that space?
Exactly.
There's always a wait list
but it's a
on
choice.
hospital
you
beds,
can't
right? Like,
you can't force someone to die.
You can't say, hey man, you're not gonna live through this treatment, so we're just gonna have to go ahead and stop wasting our time. See you later. Like
this program is gonna be a choice. If it was gonna become legal, it would be a choice. It's not gonna become like, all right, you're no good for us anymore. You can leave to save us some money. This is gonna be a patient's choice whether or not they get euthanized or not.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a doctor's decision. The doctor should have absolutely no influence in the say whatsoever. The doctor, the hospital, they should have no input.
They don't have influence. They're there strictly to give you not guidance, but answers. If you have a question, they'll answer it.
Yeah.
You know what? Opinions should be left out of it if you're in that kind of professional role. What you personally think should be set aside to go, you know what? This is what you're telling me, and I need to give you a straight up answer. Yeah. It's how it is. But anyways, I think we've talked about this long enough. We should move on.
Well, there's, okay. But there's
we could go on forever about this,
We could, but yeah. There's
like
just
there's
so many different aspects to it. Like it says, if and religious people are going to have a fucking field day with this. They're going to go off. They'll have things to say for years. And it's just like I think it should be legal, but for the right reasons. If you want to make that decision, you go right ahead. Religion should have no input in the matter. Doctors should have no input in the matter. There should be a completely personal decision. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, there's a good Tom Hanks reference. If
Tom Hanks
nobody
here he's
that.
Watching the news this morning, got a interesting. We brushed on this earlier but in Alberta today, they $9 million worth of drugs seized in a record drug bust in Alberta. There was 292 kilograms of marijuana for those that are not on the system here. That's 643 pounds.
Okay, Ryan, you wouldn't have known that either if you looked it up. Okay, I don't know what
this is. That is why I'm in.
Nobody in Canada speaks in kilograms, and that's the honest fucking truth.
I know. So yeah, there was 643 pounds of marijuana. That's
child's play.
Fucking shitload.
That is a
for like a month. That's about all.
Yeah, it got. So there was that. There was 30 pounds of fucking heroin, and 13 pounds of this fucking drug I never heard of. Hashish.
Hash.
What is the hash?
Just hash, man.
Is it like I don't know what that is. What is that?
Could be hash. I don't know. I've never heard of hashish, but I've heard of hash.
That's. The whole.
Needless to say, Walter White has somehow made it to Alberta. He is arisen from the dead, and he has made his way up to Alberta.
Big things popping. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen the end of Breaking Bad. But you know what? You should have if you're into the show. It ended a long time ago. Yeah. Get over it. He died. We enjoyed it. I did, I know, at least. Great show. Check it out if you haven't.
Spoiler alert, Tom Hanks dies in Saving Private Ryan.
And he doesn't die in Captain Phillips. Great movie.
Another spoiler alert. Come to the Triple Play Show. We'll spoil everything for you. I'll piss in your cereal and spoil that too.
If you haven't seen it and it's been out for at least 3 months, you're probably not into it. and at that point, I don't care.
You know
I'm
what?
going
I
to talk about
disagree.
it. Everyone
I
else does.
disagree with that, and this is why. You can go out, well, unless it's like a blockbuster hit that you want to see, I prefer to wait until that shit's on Netflix. And if a TV show comes out, I watch that shit on Netflix. I'm not into those.
Well, yeah.
those once a week
Personally,
series.
I don't see a lot of movies at the movie theater. I wait till they come out, on DVD because generally they're on video on demand, and then I just watch them that way in the comfort of my own home. I don't want to pay $20 to $50 for a date night to go out and watch a fucking movie
Yeah.
when I could pay $3. Sit
Netflix,
in my living room
Netflix
without
does it
pants
right.
on.
$8 a month, you get all the big TV shows, and you can binge watch them. You can watch an entire series in one. That's how I watch Breaking Bad. That's how
they're
I
even
watch Prison
smart
Break.
enough to know, hey, you know what? This guy's been sitting at home all day. He hasn't moved. We're going to stop playing the intro to the show. We're just going to get right to it.
Is that true?
I love it. Oh, yeah, totally. If you watch like 4 or 5 episodes, they stop doing the beginning of the show, and they just dive in the next episode.
That's
you don't even
interesting.
notice it because you're just zoned fucking out. But,
Yeah, that's interesting. Because that's how I watched Prison Break. I watched when I was at the time I was watching Prison Break. I was working at McDonald's, and I was working the 4 to 11:30 shift, and I would come back from work at about 11:30, 11:45 because I was really close, and I would come home and I'd watch Prison Break till like 4 or 5 in the morning. It wouldn't because I wouldn't have to get up, but it's perfect because you can watch up until current episodes. Because Netflix releases a season at a time and lets you watch. And even the original series, they don't release it 1 week at a time. Orange is the New Black and House of Cards, is that a Netflix original?
Yeah.
Or a Netflix semi-original, I think that one is. But they released the whole series at once, and then I think it was like over 50% of the people who watched it in an entire series. They showed some statistic. But that's the way to do it. I mean, unless you're HBO, I don't know. Unless you're HBO, a big network like that who's got those big shows, I think it's tough to keep people interested. It's tough to keep people interested in shows because they've got the Netflix thing now. And if people are smart, I think everyone should put their shit on Netflix.
Well, think about it. You can buy a smart TV now that has Wi-Fi capabilities, has Netflix built into it. Why do I need a cable box? I can literally just subscribe to Netflix and watch everything on my TV like that in my living room. I don't need to hook a computer up to it with an HDMI cable anymore.
My boss
things
at
have
work
gotten
does
even
that.
simpler.
My boss doesn't have a TV. My aunts and uncle don't have a TV, but they have an Xbox and they have Netflix. They have all the movies, and if they want, they can rotate back and forth from the Canadian to the American. And I think the Canadians got a lot of the better movies, but the United
America
States
has
ones
a lot
got all
better
the shows.
TV. Oh yeah,
they've got all the good TV shows, and that's how I've watched everything. All the shows that I finished since I've had Netflix have all been from Netflix. I don't even think about watching a show on TV anymore. I'm not sure if
the only way I never watch live TV. Everything I watch has been PVR'd. Commercials can eat it. I don't have time for that shit. Nobody does, and that's the thing. People don't have time to wait around anymore.
You know what's funny is because I have a TV in my room as well. So if I'm watching TV or whatever, that's the only time I ever watch live TV is in my room. Literally the last time I watched TV in my downstairs living room was the Patriots AFC Championship game against Denver in February.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sports games, I'll watch live. I watch baseball live like every day.
Completely
but
different.
that's kind of stuff you got to. But other than that, I have my TV on, just playing stuff for background noise while I'm on my computer half the time.
And I'm not going to watch.
Lots of people are like that.
I'm not going to watch another TV show out there until September and the season starts again. Because that's the only time I ever watch TV unless I'm watching the NFL Network. I used to watch it out there, but now that I got a TV in my room, I don't need to go back. I don't need to go out there. It's just convenient.
Ryan, you got anything to say on this topic?
I watch SportsCenter.
RG-3 has got to chime the fuck in because Monty and Mocha are carrying the goddamn show.
You know what? We forget you're even here sometimes, and I feel like we just talk.
I don't watch Netflix.
Well, then say that. Have an opinion. What's your opinion on Netflix, considering you don't have it? How does it affect your TV watching? Do you watch live TV quite often?
Absolutely.
Do you PVR shit? What do you do?
I watch SportsCenter.
Be opinionated.
From 9 o'clock. From 9 o'clock at night, I will fucking watch reruns for 7 hours straight. It's the same shit.
You know what?
Hey, I'm still watching it.
I completely used to do that. I used to wake up when I was.
That's all I do.
I was homeschooled till grade 8, And when I would wake up in the morning, fuck, we had a very loose curriculum homeschool. Like it was fucking like peanuts compared to what people do with a curriculum
Peanuts?
homeschool. Peanuts, damn it!
Ah,
I would literally wake up at like 6 o'clock and watch Sports Center at like 11:30. It would be Don Taylor saying the same shit for
Yeah.
4.5 hours, and I would
you
watch
look at it
every
and you're
minute
like,
of it.
Wait, I've
You guys
seen
ever-
this 4 times this morning,
And I wouldn't
There
get
was a-
tired of it.
and I don't care.
There's a couple times where I'd be watching it, like I would watch at 6 o'clock, like the first show, and then the next show at the same time. In like there's a certain part in the show, they would say something different, and it's like, oh, they recorded a couple shows because like some of them were different than the previous one I watched. And I kind of picked up on that sometimes, but I mean recently I haven't. I'm not paying attention as much anymore, but it's usually just all
Yeah.
the same shit.
Like I'll leave Sportsnet on for 2-3 hours at work, and it's like I'll notice more shit the next time I watch it.
Oh, that's.
But it's just it's just great to have on.
Yeah.
I mean, like today. I mean, I played Virtua Tennis for about 6 hours today.
Nice.
But I mean, when I wasn't playing that, like when I got sick of it, I would flip the channel back to channel 223 on my TV. It's Sports Center. I don't even know what the hell was on today. I think it was like Hockey Central or something. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that shit, but I'll listen to it. Like half the time I'm zoned out watching it. I feel like a little child sometimes just looking for the picture, but no, you pick up on shit. I mean,
Well, you are pretty short, so not
Yeah.
quite a child, but little. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
semi
Topic?
dwarf.
Yeah, let's do it. Homeless spikes. They're now installing them in several areas around the world. It's
Wait, what?
literally
Explain
homeless
to me,
spikes.
Explain to me what this is.
So if you
Oh,
look
like
at,
spikes, like actual
when you
concrete
see-
spikes.
Yeah, like when you see you look up and there's little wire spikes sticking out at places like golf courses and
Yeah.
on railings so birds don't sit on them.
Like barbed wire for the ground.
They're treating that the same way. They're putting it out in front, on the ground so that homeless people in little nooks can't just cave up in there and lay down for the night.
What?
I'm serious,
I
man.
saw this, yeah. I
And
saw this on Reddit.
one of the things is I understand to an extent. Some of the places they're doing them are a business owner will say, hey, you know what? I don't want homeless people gathering around the front of my business
Shit.
where the door is. So they put spikes kind of along the side where the rain protection would be so that they don't live in front of their business.
They don't
That,
nest.
as a business owner, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, well,
Jesus.
you think about in our area right now, we've got kind of an area where they all kind of fucking nest in
We do.
Come
I drove
together.
down there the other day, and it's literally just a tent city, man.
and if you,
They've
I
got
mean,
a fucking teepee still.
either way, if whatever city you're living in, whatever, be it a big city or small city, you're gonna have homeless people. You're gonna have people who don't have jobs and can't afford to live. There's a difference between being a homeless person who does nothing but make
Be
the city
homeless.
look bad, lay around. 'Cause there's an area where we live. There's one specific street where there's homeless people left and right, sitting on walls, sitting on ground, the chairs that they've stolen, couches that they've stolen. All they're doing is smoking crack. I used to be a landscaper, and there's this one boulevard we used to mow and weed whack and whatnot, and there would be homeless people sitting on this Allen block wall, and they would literally have crack pipes out. They were really nice people, but they had crack pipes out. They were fucking hammered. People falling all over the place. Cops everywhere, and it just puts it's just a sore spot for the city. There's a difference between people like that and people who kind of mind their own business or are walking around. But I do think the homeless spikes are a good idea because there's places where they kind of congregate and they get together.
And there's places where they don't need to be. The area that they are right now in our city, as much as it makes it a dirty place, it wasn't the cleanest of places before. But where they used to be before they all migrated to there was
The
this
heart of the
area.
city.
It's called Five Corners, and it's basically, the heart of the city. There's businesses surrounding it, and there's this beautiful park there, and literally, attached to the playground, there was just a shitload of tents with homeless people everywhere. As a taxpayer, that pisses me off. I have a child, I'm never going to take him to that park. It doesn't matter that they're gone now, but the fact that I know that they used to be there, awake during the nighttime, smoking crack, shooting up heroin, whatever they're doing, makes me say, you know what? I'm not going to take my child to that park because you don't know what's there. Even if it's been cleaned, you don't know how well. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. I have to pay for that.
There's a guy I used to work with at the landscape company, and he went from my company. Then he went to go work for the city for about 3 months, and he was in charge of the parks. So he would go with his guy and do all the parks in Abbotsford, and I think there was something like 150 parks, and he would go around, and he would just tell stories of these parks. There's needles everywhere. You find needles everywhere because that's where people go. They go to these little parks, kind of tucked away, or they're in the middle of the city where it's close to everything. It's kind of central for them because they obviously don't have transportation. And they just kind of infest the area. They're like a little fucking insect. They just kind of infest.
They're vermin. Yeah.
And it's the scum of it's the scum of the earth. Like, it's like you're not making an effort. Why are you allowed to do this?
You know, as much as that is true, there are the one-off situations where there's been millionaires that have they literally are homeless people now because they have gone broke. Yeah. And there's some people that are generally nice people, but they just don't have their life together. You know, look, I don't remember the guy's exact name, but the man with like the golden voice, he was homeless and people loved his voice. Yeah, and now he's clean. Yeah, he's clean cut. He's got an amazing voice. He's got shit going on for him now. Yeah. But you know what? And he was a nice guy. And there's people who they honestly don't try. They're just scumbags. I have a relative who works in a hospital, and you get the same people that come in each week with trying to get more prescription drugs, check them in with a self-inflicted injury so that they can get their drugs, and then they walk out literally that night once they get them. They don't stay. They don't actually need that care. They just do it for the drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're everywhere, man. Those people are everywhere. Every city you go to, no matter where you go, they're there.
Some are more subtle, but...
Yeah, but they're there nonetheless, and some places don't have it where it's just noticeable, but it's pretty noticeable around here.
Go over to Mission, dude. There used to be a village around terrible fucking thing, but the province, they took when the Olympics were here, they took all the homeless people from Abbotsford and they put them on a bus and shipped them out this way.
They need to do that again.
Yeah, well, there was a village in Mission in this little bush, like towards like you're leaving like the back of Mission. There was like this little village in this little hut of trees. There was like 57 there's just so many homeless people there. Like it's all gone now and grown over, but like they're all back and they all found their way back to Vancouver somehow. But it's just
doesn't take long to walk back to Vancouver.
Yeah. well, I mean, you know what? Think about it. Even
if I was homeless, I would never walk back. I'd be like, fuck, that's a long ass walk, man.
Yeah, but what do you have to do?
I'm gonna play my cards and I'm just gonna chill here.
You're on a lifelong journey. You could walk to fucking Alberta if you want. You're like a bird that can't fly. You're just kind of floating around from city to city.
And way less energy. And you need food more often and water.
And nobody loves you.
No one's gonna help.
There's certain cities that have homeless people that are, they're more subtle about it. Like I go to Mission now, and obviously, if you go down the main strip of Mission, you're gonna see some pretty cracked out people, but it's nothing like the area.
Yeah, but there's only one or two spots in Abbotsford. There's only one or two spots in Vancouver.
Well, and you know what? Remember right beside our Save on Foods, that little forest in there? Literally, you would look in there, and there was just fucking homeless people everywhere. I liked it better that way because you really didn't notice them.
I used to skip school
they're
and
everywhere.
Walk down through that. I used to go with a buddy, and we used to skip school and we'd walk down through there and just see what we could see. We would literally go on an adventure and just see what we could see. Me and James.
It's like going to the zoo.
Yeah, we used to just go on a fucking adventure. It's just like it's sightseeing. Fuck, we don't have to go to class. Just go fucking see some sights. See some fucking homeless people passed out in this forest right by this highway.
Just bring some fucking popcorn from the Ark.
This is before the selfie age. That would have been a beautiful thing to put on Instagram. Just a fucking colony of homeless people.
Almost as good as the Walmart football throw.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. That's priceless. Did you ever see... Okay, so for those people watching, I took a video of myself. Well, I didn't take the video. RG -3 over there took a video, and I threw a football in Walmart. And actually, the first time I did it, I threw it up and it hit like the rafters in the ceiling and bounced fucking off aisles and everywhere. So I'm like, okay, let's do this again. So then the second time I do it and I fucking drill a chair like 30 feet away, and you can hear the big bang at the end of the video, and nobody heard. Absolutely nobody heard a thing.
Or it's Walmart and no one really gave a shit because they all hate their lives.
That's true. That's very.
Was
Or they're-
Mission
or they're
Walmart,
old.
so
And it was the Mission Walmart too.
Oh yeah, so
shitty.
even more true.
Yep. I got a topic.
Let's hear it, my
Gotta-
friend. Mr.
well-
Monty Magnum.
Do you there's it's kind of leading back to the first topic, but not really. But I was talking to it kind of stems off from our conversation last night about how it's about religion and how. Have you ever noticed when you talk to somebody who's religious, whether it be whatever it is, their religion, have you ever noticed how the religion always says, like, you can't do things, you can't have sex before marriage? I think it's Christians, you're not supposed to get a tattoo, like it says it in the Bible. You can't idolize anyone but God. There's so many, like, you can't, and there's so many, like, so many stubborn aspects of religion, and then when people try to tell you about it, it almost makes them sound stupid. Because you think about, I read this thing on, like, Uberfacts or something, and it was like, no, is that the Skype call going? People, that could be the Skype call going. This would suck.
Fine.
Hello?
You offline?
Yeah, man.
Oh, there you are.
No, what happened there?
You cut out, son.
Oh, son of a bitch. What was the last thing you guys heard me say?
Fuck.
Shit.
I don't remember the last word. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what you said last.
But what did you hear? Like, what did you
It
hear
always
so
says
far?
you can't do things like
Yeah.
have sex, and it makes them sound stupid.
Yeah, because, like, you think of... Oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought. But you think of... Fuck, what was I going to... Well, I was in the middle of saying something, and I was trying to make a point. Like, there's so many restrictions again. Okay, no. So I was on, like, Uberfacts, or I was on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, Reddit, and there was a picture that said... It was a picture of a brain, and it said, the brain is the most detailed, or whatever the word that they use, intricate, like the brain is the most involved, complicated thing on the face of the earth, according to the brain. And it was like
Yeah.
scumbag brain. But that's the same thing. You know, quote, God says that you can't idolize anyone but him, and you have to go to church every week for him, according to him. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like, listen to me because I'm saying it. Nobody else is saying. Nobody else started to say it. I am saying these things, so listen to me. It's just this, like,
Yeah.
this idea that
And think about, back in the olden days, we had kings, and there literally was a class system. There was peasants and slaves, and you listened to your king. And if you did not listen to your king, you defied his words. Then guess what, buddy? You're gonna fucking die.
yeah.
You know what? And it's old thinking in a new world where people just they don't think for themselves.
People are
They
getting
really
too
don't.
smart. People are getting too smart for it. That's why you see a decline in religion. People are,
I heard once somebody say they were very Christian, and they listened to somebody speak, and they were very intelligent, and their comment about them was, "Wow, they are so smart. They're probably an atheist." That right there. Think about what that implies. Think about what that implies
No.
right there.
a religious person said this?
Yes, they were a
No.
Christian, and they said they are so smart. They are probably an atheist.
Because
So,
as a
are
religious
you implying
person,
that somebody who's a critical thinker, who can think for themselves, will realize, hey, why am I listening to somebody who says I can't do all these things in life when I want to?
people with a religious mindset, they're giving up their one chance at life to this imaginary friend. I literally have gone on Twitter and said, when I was little, I used to get creative with my imaginary friends' names. But now all these adults are just naming him Jesus. Like, it's the truth. You're giving away your one opportunity at life to fucking do all these fucking things for something you're not even sure of. Like, what are the actual odds that you're going to go to a fucking fluffy cloud and spend the eternity in heaven? What are the odds? 0. You're dead. You're gone.
I don't even know. I don't know how to elaborate on that. Like, well, like everyone's obviously. People are always gonna be like, "Oh yeah, there was a heaven," but it's like, fuck, I don't like. There's no.
There's proof that
Facts.
there isn't. There's proof against creation. There's proof against religion. Scientists have done it over and over and over again. Christians, they believe that the Earth was created 5,000 years ago. There is fucking obvious proof that the world was created way longer than 5,000
I don't
years
understand
ago.
how people can believe that they're just gonna sit up in the sky. I don't.
I was talking to this guy who is extremely
Fuck.
religious, and he's extremely faithful, and he was saying, you know, he said, and I quote, "It's just weird how people were so much smaller back in the 1300s and 1400s." And I'm thinking to myself, like, don't you realize that that's evolution? Doesn't that clue into you that that is exactly what evolution is?
Clear sign of evolution. I went to the dentist. They straight up told me after x-rays that I do not have wisdom teeth. I don't need to get them removed. I straight up do not have them. We get them removed for a reason, because we do not need them. I've advanced to the point where I didn't even fucking grow them.
Yeah, but that could just be a fucking...
You know what?
That could
I'm
just
going
be
to say that
chance.
I'm a superhuman, and you have got nothing to prove against that.
Mac, you're not a fucking superhuman.
No, but I'm slightly more evolved than you.
Debatable.
You had to get wisdom teeth removed, my friend.
I haven't had wisdom teeth removed, and nor will I have to.
Okay, well,
I only have them I have one.
I took a gamble with that one, and it didn't pay off, okay? But I
Roll
do know
the
people
dice.
that have wisdom teeth and haven't had them removed, and they work perfectly fine. But then again, I know people that need them removed because they just do not fit in their mouths.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about microphones? Does that interest anybody?
I don't know enough to comment or speculate.
I know, that's the thing. You guys don't know much about them. But I love it.
I could talk about cable boxes, but there's not much for you guys to add there.
They're just so like, I love them. There's something about them. Whatever, we won't talk about it.
All right,
That's
you know what?
fucking opinion.
I think it is time for a new topic. Lonely Layover Guy. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The link will be in the description.
Yeah, we'll put a
I
link
believe.
in the bottom of the video.
But oh my god, when he first starts singing, it hits me. I love it. It is hilarious.
We'll let you watch it, but just go watch it. It's this guy sitting, I think it's a Las Vegas airport.
It is, yeah.
And he's just singing. What's the song he's
He
singing?
sings All By Myself by Celine Dion. He has it playing over the video, and he basically recorded all of this on his iPhone. Some of it, like the parts where it's rolling around, he taped it to a wheelchair so that it would slide across, and he could sit there recording himself. Like, this guy had way too much time. If you are ever in a layover, you got an empty airport, you know what you do? You make a music video.
You make a music video and you put it on the internet. I don't think it's
It's
on
gone
YouTube.
viral. I haven't seen it on YouTube yet. It's gone viral very fast.
Has it gone viral? Is it like officially a viral video?
It is. The website, the link we have, I believe it even says that at the top.
Yeah, I only heard about it today. That was the first time I heard anything about it.
I was like no. I just don't understand why there was nobody in the airport. Like what? Like
Honestly, dude, it was Vegas. It was probably some shitty layover at like midnight or like 4 a.m, and he was just waiting for his flight. And he literally had nothing better to do than make a video of him singing All By Myself by Celine Dion.
there's gotta be other people like.
Well, when I was in the airport in
He's-
Vancouver, when I went to Boston, for the first, because you're supposed to be there like, I think it's 3 hours early for an international flight. And for the first hour, I was the only person in there. I was the only through my entire walk. Once I checked in, nobody there. All the restaurants were closed, and eventually people started showing up. But for the first probably hour, it was me and maybe one or two other people. But it doesn't surprise me that depending on what time it was, it doesn't really surprise me that nobody was there because I've kind of experienced it myself. But yeah, no, go check the video. It'll be in the description. It's fucking hilarious. Such a random thing to do.
Like, he's the typical dad clothes wearing dad, and
He's just a
it's
regular
just a good
dude.
time.
He's
He
just
is.
a regular dude. Fucking.
Richard Dunn is his name. I'm
Is that
sure
his name?
It is.
It is.
Richard fucking Dunn.
Rich Dunn. He's gonna be rich, and then he's gonna be done his music career.
What a guy. What a guy. You guys want to do a couple Would You Rathers?
Would you rather? Yeah, I would. I could. Let's
Would
do
you
it.
rather? Yes.
Yeah, we would.
Okay,
That's,
you know what?
yeah.
I think this is a good topic. I think we're going to talk about this for a hot minute.
Just a hot
Literally 15 minutes before we get on to do this podcast, I'm reaching across my desk to grab whatever the fuck I was going to grab. I spilled a glass of coffee on my fucking computer, and fucking anarchy ensued. I literally threw my headset. You guys probably how much of it did you guys hear before I went offline?
Probably about 20,
Not a
20 seconds,
lot, to be
maybe. Like,
honest.
I heard the glass fall. I hear you say, "Fuck! Fuck! Fuck! No! What the fuck?" Start freaking out, and then it just cut out. And Mac and I were like, "That
What?
Like,
And then it was like offline.
yeah." And then we're like, "Whoa!"
I got off. This is
What
what
just
happened. I got
happened?
off. I heard it spill. I told this to Macron. I don't think you were here. I heard it spill, and then I heard it dripping, and it sounded like it was dripping on metal or on plastic or whatever was inside the computer. And I was like, oh my God, there is a stream of coffee flowing through my fucking computer right now. So I sat there like, all right, this is done. Like this is it's over. This fucking piece of equipment is over. And then I realized it was the water splashing on top of the water. So I was like, okay, this thing might still have a chance. I fucking turn it off, unplug everything. I go look on a video. I look how to take it apart, blow dry the thing for like 10 solid minutes on fucking hot, on high. And it seems to work fine. It was a little slow starting up, but other than that, I think everything's back to normal. Thank God. Because I've only had this thing for a year. And how much was it, Mac? How much did we spend on them? We got the same computer. Like 1100?
Probably no more than that, dude. Like 15.
It was like 15, yeah.
It was like 15-ish plus tax, and I mean, we've definitely put a lot more into them since. I mean, I probably have, well, on this desk alone, I probably have $6-7 grand.
Yeah, I mean, between my monitors each are 150, 200 each. I got like a $200 keyboard. I got like a fucking $700 mic and interface setup. I got fucking like $200 speakers on it. Like I'm like almost 10 grand. Like I'm a thousands of dollars in debt.
And if I ever need to liquidate, I'll just sell everything on here, and I'll pay off all my bills.
Fuck. But I was like, for about 10, I got a fucking pair of Astros, a pair of Beats. Like I got a lot of shit into this, and I was just like, fuck. I was pissed. Like I don't know what I would have done if if it was done. I seriously don't. I would have taken a fucking personal day at work tomorrow.
You said you were gonna cry.
I would have cried, man. That's all I want to do is get on here and make a
I
video.
would know your pain, and I would have cried a little bit as well. Not only because you wouldn't know what to do, but because we wouldn't be able to do anything for a long time.
I know. It would be so shitty. Okay, let's do a couple Would You Rathers to end off this podcast.
Yeah.
I'll get one going here.
Eh,
Okay, here's one that's maybe a little interesting. Would you rather take this as like a hostage situation where everyone's getting tortured? Would you
Jesus.
rather be the first to die or be the last to die?
Oh fuck, straight up. Let me be the first.
Really?
100%. You know what? Like, I don't know. Like myself, if it's gonna be the first one, he's not really thinking of it.
Depends.
Doing all this, right? I mean, once he's done it, maybe he obviously, if he's gonna kill everyone there, because you're saying the first and the last, the first one there's not gonna be much effort into it. He's just gonna fucking pull the trigger, right? If you're doing the last one, you've been sitting there for I don't know how many people are there. Let's just say 50 people are there. You're the last one of the 50. He's got time to construct a plan.
Doesn't matter. You're still getting a bullet to the head, man.
I see. I'm thinking.
Maybe you're
it's
not gonna get bullet to the head though. Maybe
That's
you're
not
gonna
the
get.
question. Stop diluting the fucking question.
I'm
I'm
thinking
just-
it's the exact opposite. Well, according to what you're saying, if this guy is gonna have any sort of motivation to do something fucked up, I think it's gonna be the first bunch of people, and then by the fucking 50th person, he's just gonna be like, all right, what's one more?
Yeah.
I'll just fucking kill you.
Yeah,
I would
end it.
totally be the last person to die because, well, the suspense would be terrible, but I don't want to die, and I don't want to be the first to die out of a group. I would 100% rather be the last person to die, see what he does, and just pray he gives up by the time he gets to me.
Yeah, for me, it's like I see both sides. I would almost want to die first. Just say, fuck it, get it over with. I do not want to see my friends and family die in front of me and then know I'm still going to die in the end. But, also that's where this kind of, well, is this group of hostages just, or like, am I at the bank and somebody comes in? I don't know these people? Hell yeah, I want to be last. But if it's friends and family, stuff like that, sorry, but I want to go first. I don't want to have to sit through and watch all my loved ones just bleeding out in front of me after they've been shot,
Yeah, that's a good point.
even with that, like you don't know them. You're watching all these people die. You have time to think about it, right? Like
exactly. Like you have to think about that horror set in.
Exactly.
That's not a good time.
If I'm the first one, I have no
Your last thoughts before you die are of everyone you love dying.
Well, like they were saying, like say you're at the bank, rips your randoms. Even then, even if you're the last one, you're still thinking of what's that pain going to be like? Maybe he misses you for a shot. You got a fucking internal wound. You're bleeding out from the inside, right? Like if you're the last one, you have time to think about what is going to happen, or you have time to fucking comprehend what is happening in front of you right now. Whereas if you're the first one, you got no time to think about it. It's just happening, and I feel like that'd be a much more, myself anyway, I would much rather be the first one in that sense because, my brain would be fucking going 1,000 miles. So just trying to think of what's going to happen. I'd rather just get it over with.
Bring Elvis back to life or bring Tupac back to life?
The teenager in me says Tupac, and the grown-up in me says fucking Tupac. You know what? Elvis is loved, but you know what? He's got some good songs. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but to each their own. I've never really gotten into Elvis.
I don't know. I never got into Tupac. I never got into Elvis. I
have a goddamn opinion on the fucking matter.
This is I don't know. I wasn't really I've never really been a fan of Tupac. sure he's got a couple good things, but
rather be a nigga, man.
I'm not into that whole like hardcore rap shit, but I'm also not into that fucking whatever the fuck Elvis was, right? Like
you're just indifferent to the situation.
This is my thing. Like Let me tell you why I think you should bring Elvis back to life. Tupac's biggest at the time Tupac was around and the time he was hot in the rap game, the reason people were so like fixated on him was because of his music, but at the same time it was his beef between him and Biggie, right?
Yeah.
Him and Biggie went back and forth. It was an East Coast, West Coast thing, and that's what made that so interesting. You're not going to bring Biggie back with Tupac, so Tupac's going to move on without Biggie. He's going to be here. He'll be like a Dr. Dre. He'll be like an Eminem. He'll be like a 50 Cent. He'll just be here putting out music. He's still a god in the game. But if you say the same thing about Eminem dying 5 years ago, you're still going to say he's one of the best and he would be missed. I think if you're going to bring one of those two back, you bring Elvis back because he was a legend on his own.
A breakthrough.
And I think Tupac was a good rapper, but I think half the reason he was so famous and so important was because of his relationship with Biggie.
Yeah, that media influence. And you know what? If we're going to throw out Biggie out there, I'm just going to shout it out. Fuck Tupac. Biggie's better.
Tupac's a rap. Tupac is a preacher. Biggie's a rapper. That's the way it fucking is. Tupac tells stories. Biggie raps about fucking hoes and Big booty.
Money,
Blow.
hose, and clothes. I'm not gonna lie. I literally wrote money, hose, and clothes on an English assignment once. The teacher circled it and was like, "What?" And I didn't get a great mark, but you know what? I kind of forgot that I wrote that on there, but I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Let's do one more to wrap up the show. We've been doing this for just about an hour, so
Yeah.
let's do one more. We'll wrap up the show, and we'll say our goodbyes. Whoo! My God, you guys know who Slender Man is?
Oh my God, I do. And
Right.
if I think I know what you're gonna talk about, damn.
Ryan, do you know who it is?
I am clueless.
It's a video game character. You're walking in the woods. The game is really to get away from him. You're walking in the woods in a dark, suspenseful. It's a scary game, and so the idea is not to be seen by this guy, and he pops up behind you, and everyone who plays it gets the fucking shit scared out of him. So this is the question: be stalked by Slender Man, or take part in one of Jigsaw's games from Saw.
Like
Or-
not like make the puzzle, but be involved in
Be
it.
involved. Be the fucking the rat, if you will.
Yeah.
Slender Man, this guy with his enormously long arms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he
white
wears just a
hair.
black suit, and he's just
Okay,
like
Uh,
white.
that looks creepy as fuck. Does he-
I'd fuck Slender Man all day long. I'm not getting fucking torn apart, getting my eyes gouged. I could run away
Slender
from
Man
fucking
attack.
Slender Man. That guy looks unathletic as shit. I'd swing around trees and I'd get away from him in a heartbeat.
No, but that's the thing. He's a serial killer. He'll just pop up. It doesn't matter. You can
That's-
run it all you want. He's just going to appear, man.
It's funny because underneath the it's funny how I just had to describe Slender Man. Underneath it says Jigsaw from the Saw movies, and then Slender Man. Well, just Google it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would take Slender Man all day.
I think, as fucked up as it would be to be chased through the woods, and even worse to be in a movie, or not a movie, but a situation like that, I think I'm going to go with Saw. Because
Really?
there's the chance that you're going to live, man.
Yeah, but you always live without something. Jigsaw's goal is to see how far you'll push your body to survive. So you're gonna have to gouge an eye out. You'll have to cut a hand off. You have to cut open your stomach. You have to kill somebody else. That shit's fucked up.
fucked.
That is.
I don't think I could do that.
If I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to die, I want to fight for it.
Really?
Myself,
I
not
don't
knowing
want
what
to just. I don't
Slender
want
Man
to just
is.
run out of the fucking woods and be like and scared, and then pretty much that's what I would do, and then just boom, dead. Like, you know what? I want a chance to live here. I don't want to just be popped out of nowhere, get the shit scared out of me. Then I die with shit in my pants, and that's not cool.
You die the
Wow.
same way you came into this world. shit in your
Pretty
pants.
much, and crying too.
Ryan?
Well, not knowing what Slender Man is, but just recently looking.
You know
it up.
what? It's called Google.
And that's what I just finished saying.
Okay.
I've watched all the Saw movies. They are fucked up. I honestly myself, I would not be able to fucking cut my fucking fingers off, gouge my eye out, just to try and live, because
Cut your ankle off.
I wouldn't. I mean, quite
Hit
frankly,
on needles.
after
And if
that,
you're
you're gonna have a fucking nub. You're gonna have a nub.
And if you're Shaq, you're gonna cut off the wrong ankle at first, then have to go redo it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would definitely take this fucking Slender Man thing.
Oh, totally.
I wouldn't. I mean, I think nubs. When I see someone with a nub, dude, it kind of puts me back. 'Cause-
Man, I was at the bar on the weekend, and I didn't realize when I first walked past the dude, he was staring at me, sitting at a table by himself, wearing some football jersey. Didn't really notice until later that night. I was with my girlfriend, and she's like, "Dude has one arm." I look
Oh,
over,
man.
and he was eyeing me up. I didn't
Oh.
realize he had one arm. As soon as I did, I just like, huh?
Did you see the
Hey,
nub?
Is he staring
hey,
at
don't-
me because I have all my limbs, or what?
Hey,
you
don't
see
fuck
the
around.
nub
I'll
or
come
what?
at you with my nub. I'm gonna nub you.
Man, I mean, I feel terrible.
I mean-
saying nubs are fucking gross.
Yeah, but you know what? As much as
Fuck.
it is, there's so much technology now where you could even 3D print a badass arm and just attach it straight up.
You know what else is gross?
Oh,
Soulless
fuck.
people.
Hey,
Them
that was
fucking
personal.
daywalkers.
Don't personally attack people.
Don't personally attack people, you stupid ginger.
It's fucking that's uncalled for, right? That's fucking discrimination.
Fuck you, Ryan. RG -3, Monty and Mocha. Episode number 1 concludes.
Catch you later. We'll
Catch
see you.
you
Check out
later.
the links. Click on them. Throw us some views. Maybe subscribe if you're nice. See you next
Thanks
time.
for watching.
Big old bag of dicks.
Hopefully you're still here. Triple Play Show, episode number 1.